Hello everyone, I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm breaking down our next fight for UFC Paris. In this matchup, we have Brad Tavares versus Robert Bryczek. Tavares is 2-3 in his last five. Bryczek is 4-1 his last five, but he's currently coming off a loss in his UFC debut to Ihor Putieria. Meanwhile, Brad Tavares, he is, as I mentioned, pinned 2-3 in his last five. Of those fights, one was a loss to Bruno Silva in his last hurrah until everything just fell off a cliff. Then he gets a win over Chris Weidman. Then goes on a two-fight skid where Gregory Rodriguez just battered him to a third round stoppage. Then he had a really competitive fight with Hyung Sung Park. Then most recently got a good win against Gerald Mearshard, and that kind of leaves where he is now. Now overall in the record, Tavares, he's a UFC veteran. He's fought damn near everyone in the middleweight division, like Yoel Romero, Robert Whitaker, Israel Adesanya, you name it. He's fought everybody. I mean, he's 21-10, and like 80% of that record is UFC. He's fought just about everyone in the top 15. He's fought there. I can make a long list of how many people Brad Tavares fight. Like I said, just top three off my head: Yoel Romero, Izzy, Whitaker. Those are household names, people. He's Duplessis, Gerald Mearshard. Like I said, he's just fought everybody. Now, meanwhile, Bryczek, he's on a pretty good win streak. Of those last four wins before the loss to Boteria, all four were by knockout. He's got really good boxing, and you look at on the regional scenes, especially like EFC or something like that, he's got very slick head movement, good punching combination, and can mix his shots in very well. I really love his combos, which start with the head, end with body shots, or head, body, head. Just like his punching combinations, once he gets into a flow, very beautiful to watch. Brad Tavares, on the other hand, he's very much a decision machine. He doesn't have too many wins via finish in any way, but he's a workhorse. He doesn't get tired. He has some of the best takedown defense in all of middleweight. Like, I can't think of that many people who've outright out-wrestled him. And off the top of my head, like Yoel Romero had difficulty doing it. Duplessis literally took himself down trying to take Tavares down. Hyung Sung Park had trouble. Gregory Rodriguez had trouble. Chris Weidman had trouble. Gerald Mearshard couldn't get him down at all. You don't really take down Brad Tavares. He has amazing takedown defense. And he's a jack of all trades, master of none. He's got good wrestling. He's got good striking, particularly his kicks, or leg kicks, and some of his straight shots like his jab and cross. And good grappling to where like he can get good position and keep it. But in general, it's like if you're better than him at like one certain aspect of the game, like Adesanya is a much better striker than him, he's going to beat him striking. Now, generally speaking, a jack of all trade, master of none, the way they win fights is if Bryczek, who I believe is the better striker in this matchup, is going to beat Tavares, is going to be on the feet. But Tavares, because he does have good wrestling, good grappling, he's going to pivot to his other skill sets of the mixed martial arts and use that aspect of the game to try and beat Bryczek. Now look at the odds. Brad Tavares is a 2-1 favorite. He's a minus 250. Bryczek is a 200. I believe most of that is the fact that he lost his debut to Ihor Putieria actually it was a while ago. That was like last February when that fight happened. So he's been out for a while. And so I could definitely see that as a big reason why Tavares is the 2-1 favorite, especially given his UFC experience. There is some concern for me. Because you look at those last three losses, two of them pretty violent knockouts. Now, granted, Brad Tavares has, genuinely speaking, been very durable. Like, you don't see too many guys like knock him out flat, but Bruno Silva laid him out pretty bad. Gregory Rodriguez beat the shit out of him. And then I think about way back in his career, like Whitaker knocked him out in about a minute. Edmund Shabazian head kick KO'd him. But then there are moments where he's like, goes all 5 rounds on Adesanya, goes all the distance with Romero, was the first person in the UFC anyway, to drag Duplessis to a decision. Like, there are moments where his durability holds up surprisingly well, and you're thinking, wow, how tough is this guy? And then other moments it faults him in fights where you would think it would absolutely be on display. Like against Bruno Silva. Not so much against RoboCop because RoboCop is a destroyer, but still, his durability is very wonky at times. Now, I do see him taking some of the shots from Robert Bryczek. Bryczek does hit pretty hard, and like I said, his boxing is really good. He has some really good combos. So, I definitely think Brad Tavares is a bit bigger of a favorite than he should. I definitely see him as the favorite because as a generalist, he has more skills than Bryczek. And while his striking isn't terrible, I definitely think he should pivot to his grappling and wrestling to win this fight. Overall, though, like I said, I'd say he should be more of a minus 150, minus 175. I just don't see why he's that big of a favorite, being honest. Because you look at it, yeah, that Jiro Mearshard win was impressive, or yeah, he's coming off a win against Jiro Mearshard. I wouldn't even call that impressive, but he had better striking moments and he defended all the takedowns, which was very impressive, but Jiro Star's not that good of a wrestler. Now, I say this, I am picking Brad Tavares to win by a decision. I think he's going to stall out Bryczek in the clinch. I think he's going to use his wrestling, and even on the feet. While Bryczek's got better hands, I don't think he has better kicks. I can definitely see Tavares chopping up the lead leg, cutting down the tree, or using body kicks, just keeping him at range. Now, again, there is concern. I do think Bryczek can crack the chin of Tavares, and I do think he can hurt him. Hell, I can even foresee a knockout if he lands right. Because, like I said, Brad, especially Tavares' age, he's like 36. He's getting up there. I definitely see the durability has been waning and been doing it for a while. Like Kyung-Chun's Park hurt him bad. But overall, I just think the UFC experience, like, if Tavares wins, he'll have the most wins in middleweight history, surpassing Michael Bisping. He's tied Michael Bisping for the most wins at middleweight. So, I definitely think that experience comes into play. And, like, do those, like, all those UFC fights mean nothing to a guy who's making his second fight in the UFC? I don't think so. I think it counts for something. So, I'm picking Brad Tavares. I'm picking him by a decision. I definitely see it a close decision, probably 29-28. Part of this is tricky because I'm thinking by the end of like these videos, I definitely have what I think will be like my most confident picks and betting lines, especially. But at the end of the day, I always like say my opinion in terms of like the betting lines. Overall, I think if Tavares was a slightly less of a favorite, like I said, if he was like minus 150, I'd probably bet him. But as a 2-1 favorite, I just think that's kind of a dangerous bet to play because I can see Bryczek catching him. I really can. So I just don't think this is as easy as the oddmakers have it, and I can definitely see this possibly busting parlays if you put Brad Tavares on. But at the same time, I'm still picking him to win. I still think he's going to win. I still think he's going to win decision. But just something I think, to keep in mind. But overall, that was my prediction for Tavares versus Bryczek. I thank you all for listening. Also, like how the end of these videos, I'm still trying to figure that out. But hey, you got to start from somewhere, right? Next up, it will be Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. I thank you all for listening. Thank you. See you next time.